Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen. As you can see from the southwest corner there, Deneb's unit symbol has appeared, which means that she's pretty much out of enemy units to throw at Orpheus's army to try to slow it down. So we're going to finish off the remaining units that are left, including the 3 ninjas led by a Valkyrie unit that kind of went off course. It's hanging out there in the south part of the map. I think the AI was trying to make it attack Matt's unit. That unit's led by the Imp in the last episode because it was hunting down another one of those Valkyrie-led 3 ninja units. The Valkyrie's in the front row, so take it out, and the ninjas try to retreat back to base, and it's kind of annoying. So we had a flying unit down there to cut off its retreat, and I think that unit was down there to try to block that unit off, but its AI got all messed up, but now it's back on track there. You see it there at the south. So we'll take care of it. Then we'll go about liberating the rest of the towns, learning a little bit more about Deneb, and then we'll have to confront her. We learn a little bit more about Deneb because she actually becomes a kind of a major role player in the Ogre Battle saga. As I said in the last episode, she is available to be recruited in every single one of the Ogre Battle games. The recruitment methods tend to be a little bit different, in each one, of course, but she is a character that's available in all of them. So, and they explain a little bit about how that's possible, I guess. So, basically what it boils down to is, it turns out that, she has, I guess you could say she's like kind of a roaming spirit, where she can inhabit different females' bodies and basically take them over. That's kind of made apparent in Ogre Battle, the Knights of Lotus for the Game Boy Advance, where you just recruit a fire element female soldier, and you turn them into a witch. You name them Deneb, and you turn them into a witch, and they get basically they turn into the Deneb that we know here, that we're going to encounter here. So basically, yeah, the fleshed out lore of her is basically that she's, I guess, supernatural in that sense. So, which makes one of the choices that we will actually face at the end of this map when we confront her and finally defeat her, kind of moot, I guess. Basically, when you finally defeat Deneb, you're given the choice to either forgive her for her crimes or to not forgive her, with the assumption being that if you don't forgive her, you basically execute her. But knowing what the lore says about Deneb, the future lore says about Deneb, basically executing her wouldn't really do anything, because, she would just, her spirit would get out of that body that she's in now and just possess another body. So the canonical choice is that you forgive Deneb. So that's according to the canon story that ties all the Ogre Battle saga, all the different games in the Ogre Battle saga together. So, however, you are given different things happen depending on whether you choose to forgive her or not forgive her. So, if you choose to forgive her, you will gain some alignment. I guess it shows that you're a good person because you're willing to forgive people despite the heinous crimes that she has committed. And you'll gain 5 alignment. However, the people will be really upset that you forgave her because she did so many bad things to them. We know some of those things were, doing human experiments and then ruining crops. So, while you'll gain 5 points to your alignment, Orpheus will gain 5 points to his alignment, you'll lose 5 points to your reputation. Conversely, if you choose to not forgive Deneb, basically the assumption is that you execute her, what happens is you gain 5 points to your reputation, because the people are like, yeah, you brought her to justice, but because I guess you performed a kind of an evil act by, executing somebody, even though this is technically war and she's a war criminal, you will lose 5 points to your alignment. So it's up to you which one you want to do. I will be doing the forgiveness, because this is going to be an all recruitment, all special character recruitment, except for one, which locks out the best ending. So I will be forgiving Deneb so that I can recruit her later on. So she will give you a little mini quest, and we'll discuss that when we get to it. If you don't forgive her, though, one thing that will happen, though, is every time you come back to visit this stage, if you go and visit the castle that she's in, you will get you'll get a pumpkin plus, one of those pumpkin plus items. So if you want to have an army of a lot of pumpkins, maybe you really like that unit, if you want to promote them, this is one way to get an endless supply of the pumpkin plus items to promote your pumpkin heads into Halloweens. So, but like I said, since we're going for the all special characters best ending, we will be doing the forgiveness. Maybe I think the more I think about it, I'll probably end up maybe doing later on a second playthrough of this game, and maybe I'll do the different route. I'll do like an evil route, because there's a few side quests that are unlocked by being evil, and you're locked out of a few things by being evil. You won't get all the special characters, but you'll be able to do other side quests. Like there's a in the one in the Fort Alamut. This is a much later map. It's called the Saga quest. That's only available if you're low alignment. You also can't get the Fire Seal unless you have low alignment. And the Fire Seal gives you kind of a hint on how to get a special bonus episode. Don't worry, I'll be doing the bonus episode, even though I won't be collecting the Fire Seal. You're locked out of the Fire Seal if you're recruiting all characters. Because at one point you're given the choice, but if you recruit a special character, you won't be able to get their weapon, and their weapon is needed to get the Fire Seal. So, but that's much, much later on in the game. We can talk about that when we get to the point. But yeah, so probably much later on I'll do an evil playthrough. So we'll have to find a mean pet. Maybe I'll name the hero Spartacus, because everyone thinks that my dog Spartacus is mean, but he's just he came from an abusive place when he was at the SPCA, and so he's kind of a little untrustworthy. And he's also right now growling at Pops, my rat Pops, because Pops is trying to take a drink out of his water bowl. Spartacus is not very generous. Spartacus, you have so much water. You never lack for water. Why are you trying to guard it from Pops? He's a silly boy. So he just growls at the rat. He's actually kind of scared of the rats. It's kind of funny. My first rat I ever got, Merlin. He was whatchamacallit. He was like the bravest rat ever. He did a lot of funny things. But he would like go right up to the dog, and he would rats are notorious groomers, and he would groom my dog. Spartacus, a long-haired Chihuahua, and so he'd be grooming him and pulling his hair, and Spartacus didn't like that. But Merlin didn't care. He wasn't afraid of Spartacus at all. It was also funny because other things that Merlin did that kind of showed his bravery. When I would be doing yoga, he'd be like run up my leg and he'd climb on my hand. When I'm in like a balance pose, like he didn't care. One time I was vacuuming the house, and I was like, Merlin, stop, watch out, I'm vacuuming here, get out of the way, and shut the vacuum off. And he climbed right on top of the vacuum head to just hang out there. I was like, okay, whatever. I turned the vacuum back on. He just rode the vacuum, and from then on, whenever I brought the vacuum out, he'd want to climb up onto the vacuum, and it was basically like a carnival ride for him, an amusement park ride. So, yeah, he was a very interesting rat. So, Deneb wasn't always a crony of the Empire. Why did she join them? The Empire promised her access to all the books of magic they had if she'd help them. And you know how important research is to Deneb. Not really, because we're just learning about her. But we're returning some units here to our base, because, like I said, we've eliminated all the... we took out all the enemy units, so there's no need to have all these units out anymore. So, just in case, if we don't liberate all the towns in time for confronting Deneb, we'll save some money. So, we draw here, Magician, increase our intelligence. Once again, that's good for the Lord, because tarot card damage is based on the Lord's stats. So higher intelligence will mean certain magic cards, tarot cards will do more. I guess you'll be taking on Deneb soon. Please remember that as bad as she may be, a life should not be easily taken. So that's where they're kind of, I guess, you know, letting you know that, hey, you know, maybe you despite how bad she is, maybe you shouldn't, you know, maybe you should forgive her. So, which, like I said, we will be doing. So, Empress card. That card heals all your characters, 100% of their hit points, so that'll be more important toward the end of the game, when characters have a lot of hit points. So, have you heard about Deneb? She's a beautiful young witch. They say that Valpyrene Castle is full of men who are bewitched by that beauty. But she's as smart as she is beautiful, and she's researching a new kind of magic. And that magic, I guess, is to create pumpkin heads. So, now I was talking about Merlin a little bit earlier in my rat. So Merlin obviously is named after Merlin the Magician. And, whatchamacallit, so when I found out there was a female rat available for adoption at the Virginia Beach SPCA, I was like, okay, I'll get her, you know, because I was afraid, because this other rat was kind of like Spartacus. Pretty mean, bit people. I was afraid that, you know, it might be euthanized. I was like, I don't want that to happen, so I was like, I'll take it. So anyway, when I brought her back, you know, she didn't have a name. Well, she had a name Porsche, but the girl I was living with at the time was like, animals should not be named after food or cars. So I was like, okay, I gotta come up with a new name. And I was thinking, you know, like, what can I name her? And I'm like, well, I have a magic user in Merlin. You know, maybe I can name her, you know, after some type of magic user. And actually I was gonna think about naming her Deneb after the witch in this game here, because, you know, she's a magic user, but I chose not to. I ended up going with another magic user, Twilight Sparkle, one of the magical ponies from My Little Pony that was really, really big back when I first adopted rats back in 2016. So, like, there's My Little Pony stuff everywhere, so I was like, okay, I'll just name it after that little magical pony. But anyway, and now all my female rats that I ever get are named after some type of princess, to always tie back to my first princess, Twilight Sparkle there. So, my last princess there, Sarissa, was named after Princess Sarissa from Final Fantasy V. Where she did a lot of those Let's Plays for the Final Fantasy IV job Fiesta. So, but anyway, Deneb, the name actually has come from a star, and that star is also known as Alpha Cygni, and it's the brightest star in the Cygnus constellation. And actually, there's quite a few characters that are named after stars, both bosses and characters that we get. For instance, Sirius, the last boss of Lake Janine, he's named after Sirius, the brightest star in the Alpha Canis Major constellation, the dog, the big dog constellation. One of Vashidi's apprentices, Albelio, is the brightest star in the Cygnus constellation. And then another boss, Castor, future boss Castor, is named after the brightest star in the Gemini constellation. And another boss, Pruchian, is the brightest star in Canis Minor, the little dog constellation. And Canopus is also named after, he's one of our characters, he's also named after a star, and he's in the constellation Carina. Well, it's time to attack Deneb here. We took a bunch of items and put them on this unit, so you made it all the way here. Pretty good. Hey, Orpheus, you're quite handsome, aren't you? Just my type. Ooh, if only things were different. But ours must remain a forbidden love. Sort of like Romeo and Juliet, isn't it? But I have a job to do, and so do you. Well, let's do it. Deneb is going to be surrounded by a bunch of her pumpkin men, but she positions herself in the front row where she's vulnerable to attack. That's why I put my two knights kind of off-centered there. Well, I mean, they're centered, but they're pushed into the center. They're not. And that way they'll both be able to attack Deneb, and the same with my the worm there in the back row. So I'll have 6 physical attacks to hit Deneb with, and then the one black magic attack from the imp there, the leader. So now all my characters, my physical characters, the knights and the worm, they'll automatically target Deneb now that she's the weakest in the center there. So I'm going to put my tactics on weak, so they do a little bit more damage in case we miss an attack. We'll be able to take her out, and we did right there. So it's a good thing we equipped all those weapons on her. So I'm sorry, I really am. It's all my fault, I know. Will you forgive me, please? Yes, you really forgive me? Yes. So watch your reputation. It's going to go down a little bit. Thank you. You're so sweet. So yeah, the reputation drops a little bit, but we gain 5 points of an alignment. So, and that'll help us restore our reputation anyway. Like I said, we're going to eventually want to tank our reputation a little bit later. So the hit to our reputation doesn't really matter. We still have a high reputation. People are still going to like us. So even though when we return back and visit this area, a lot of the people will, be saying, how could you let her off? How could you let her off? But we'll see that in just a little bit here coming up. So we'll make our little save here. And then we got some time, so let's go back and revisit all the people, all the cities here, and see what the people have to say. So we can disband all our units, because we're going to have to be, once again, of course, reorganizing our army. It's always good to, reorganize your army every so often. Plus, reorganizing your army, what's good for one map may not be good for another map. So, for instance, our next map, the slums of Zenobia, there's not going to be a lot of mountains. So, no point in having a lot of mountain units. So, and we're also going to need some flying units again. So, we're going to have to alter our things. And remember, if we were, like, for instance, when we first started out, we had 2 units with octopuses, the deep water. Well, there's not a lot of water these past few maps, so those units would have been, pointless to have. So it's always important, like I said, to be removing, updating your army, removing characters from units. So our army is getting pretty big here. So once you start making a few more, start seeing how our character, we'll actually start eliminating some of the slower growers, because we want to, be able to have the best army we could, and it's just a little hard to keep managing all these units. So it just makes life a little bit easier. But yeah, even with we'll end up eventually having just one character of each type of class. For the most part, there'll be a few where I'll have extra characters, but for the most part, I'll just be having one of each character. So that knight hit level 7, so we'll turn her into a samurai. Ford also hit level 7, so now you can see we can turn into a samurai. So that way we're just getting a few samurai, and we're mixing up between, samurais and knights. So we'll wait for a few more of these enemies, or a few more of these knights to get level 7, then we'll turn them into samurai. Also, now that we have access back to Deneb's garden here, we can manipulate some of the alignment with our knights to maybe drop it by fighting the pumpkin heads, so that we can maybe turn some of them into wild men, because we don't have any of them. We have 2 ninjas, but we need some of the wild men, so let's go talk with some folks in these towns here. I heard that you forgave Deneb. How could you? She seduced you with her good looks, hasn't she? Unbelievable. And that message is the same whether your opinion leader is male or female, so I guess this game was groundbreaking that they recognized, same-sex couples, way back in the early 90s. So it was a different time back then. Sometimes I can't stand people. Why do we say one thing to men and another to women? Yeah, they didn't necessarily have as many rights as they, do now. So, like for instance, the don't ask, don't tell in the military. So, across the lake is the Castle Zenobia, the center of the Kingdom of Zenobia. And Castle Zenobia is the real Imperial Army, the Highland Forces. Be careful. So, yeah, we're now, your sexual orientation doesn't matter. You can serve openly, so. Just a few items there. I just wanted to see what we can buy. A new one there is the sunshine item that turns the clock basically to the morning, so makes it daytime. So it's good for if you have a really holy army and you don't want to fight the bad guys at night, when they're better. So, but we're not gonna be really using items. So, oh, I've been hoping you'd drop by. I've got a favor to ask. Will you help me? Yes. I almost finished my research, but to complete it, I need a golden bough. They only grow in the forest of Diaspola. Will you get one for me? I'll share the magic with you if you do. That's not enough, you say. Well, as a down payment, I'll give you this black pearl. It's very expensive, so I'm sure it will help you. Good luck. We're gonna have to buy that bow then, but we're gonna have to. We can sell that to gain some money. So. You found it? Oops, that's not it, silly. The golden bell only grows in Diaspola. Please go there and get one, so. We will do that. You have to say yes to that request of hers to be able to start in motion the side quest to recruit her to your cause, so. Well, let's finish checking out these things here. Anquad used to be a fort in the time of King Zenobia. Would you like to know about the tactics used then? Sure. Every time you fight a battle, your alignment may change. If you fight a strong opponent, your alignment will go up. But if you fight weak opponents, your alignment will go down, and that also works with your charisma. You will of course become more powerful as you lose those alignment points, but you will become hated by the people, rebels who can't be trusted or no better than thieves. So let's see if we say no, and I'll eventually talk about the alignment, the actual computation for it, so good luck in your travels! So. And let's go finish off these final 2 cities. And then we'll finish off this episode. A little bit shorter than the past few ones, but still got a lot done, so. We're gonna have another big map coming up with the slums of Zenobia. Sometimes I can't stand people. Why do we say one thing to men and another to women? Because different audiences know who you're speaking to. Different interests. How could you let Deneb off like that? You have no idea the kinds of things she's done. Well, like the lore says, if we would have, got rid of her, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. She'd just come back. You have no idea how much you suffered because of her. I'm not saying that we should judge people, but still, there's a limit. So, oh well, let's return back to our map. And off-screen, I will rebuild my army, and we will prepare to advance on the slums of Zenobia, where we were told that the real Highland forces are. So. Make sure you come back to cheer Orpheus on. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.